What is up, YouTube? Brad Hoover from Rants here. As always, guys, if y'all enjoy our content, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave that comment down below. All right, so this is going to be the first two episodes of 1883 review. Probably not going to go through the whole season of episode by episode reviews, but I do want to give my take on the first two episodes of it because this has been a show that I've really been excited to see. They've been throughout this season of Yellowstone, they've been kind of giving us flashbacks, and those flashbacks have been, of 1883 and the Dutton family that really started it all, with Tim McGraw and Faith Hill, as the heads of it, was really awesome in the flashbacks of Yellowstone. Real fast paced, real energetic, really fun, determined story. It feels like a frontier family. Um, 1883 though suffers from a lot of problems though, and it's problems that I hope later on that they fix because the flashbacks in Yellowstone don't feel like the show, or at least the first two episodes of the same show. They really don't. They seem like polar opposites. The flashbacks in Yellowstone that I see of 1883, love to see that show. This show, though, doesn't, it feels so opposite of that. But let's just go ahead and get into some of the things that I absolutely hate about it. And then, of course, I'll get into the things that I love about it because I'm a pessimist at heart and I love talking about the things I hate about, even the things I love. All right, so one thing that is always going, or has plagued the first two episodes, is pacing. Pacing is terrible in this show. It really, truly is. This show started off in Fort Worth. We are two episodes in, and they are just now on the outskirts of Fort Worth. That is incredibly, incredibly slow. If that doesn't pick up, you know, I don't know how they're going to make it to Oregon or wherever they're going, Montana, by the end of this season, because it feels like this is going to take years in the making, and I'm talking about real world years, not uh, not not just seasons in this show. And the reason why I say that is because it's going to be really weird if it picks up pace and, since the first two episodes have been so slow, and then if, let's say, they're halfway there by the next episode, I'm going to be like, okay, that was a change of pace. I like the change of pace, but at the same time, it didn't fit with the first two episodes, the slowness of it. So it'd be kind of fast if it goes in fast forward while it's been stuck in, it seems like, slow motion for the first two episodes. So that's something that I feel like needs to be changed, um, in the future episodes of 1883. Now, another thing that just drives me crazy, and it might, other people might not catch on to it, um, but I'm sure if you're a Southerner, you probably will, especially if you're a Texan, you will catch on. This is our draw. This is what we sound like. Um, I got a pretty good draw here going on. Um, it feels like in this show that, of course, you got Sam Elliott, Tim McGraw, Faith Hill. They do great. They're great. Their accents are great. They sound like someone that is either from Texas or a Southerner, by any stretch of imagination. Everyone else on this show feels like it's a struggle. It feels like, especially the women on this show, other than Faith Hill, really, really struggle with that Southern accent. Um, it feels like they've watched a lot of Gone with the Wind and they think that's the way they need to sound. That's not how Southern people sound. That is how movies depict Southern people sounding, and that's the problem with this. And it's like nails on on a chalkboard for me. Uh, every time that I hear some of them, like Faith Hill's sister speaking, or Elsa speaking, it feels like a struggle. It feels like it's not original. And I'm just like, you know what? You could have got anybody to play those roles, and you had to pick people that struggle with this accent that just shouldn't be that way. I had a lot of that problem with The Witcher in a lot of ways. There's some accents, with Vesemir that I was like, oh crap, I can't even hardly stand this at times because his accent just didn't flow with his character. But that's a big problem for me in this. Besides the pacing, uh, let's say the narration. This show doesn't need narration. It just doesn't. Yellowstone doesn't have narration. Why add narration to this? Especially from Elsa's point of view. It just doesn't need to be narration. Um, really, to me, confuses me in this regard because this show I thought was going to be a Tim McGraw, Faith Hill, the primary heads of the Dutton family, and then their children. But it feels more like a coming of age story with Elsa narrating, and then you've got Tim McGraw and Faith Hill on screen. I'm like, whose show is this really based on? Is this a coming of age story? Or is this a show about Tim McGraw and Faith Hill and then their family? Because a lot of times it feels like this show doesn't have an identity. They want Elsa to be in the forefront, but then they also want it based around Tim McGraw and Faith Hill. And it can't be off both. One has to flow off the other. Just like in Yellowstone, things are focused on John Dutton. Beth, Casey, all of Jamie, all of them fall off of that. Like they flow off of John Dutton. The story is John Dutton's. And I feel like this show really needs to make its case about whose show this actually is and who are the others going to flow off of. Is it going to be Tim McGraw? Is it going to be Faith Hill? Or is it going to be this Elsa Dutton? I don't know. But I think it needs to be clear about which one it truly wants to flow off of. And I feel like if it's supposed to be Tim McGraw and Faith Hill, they might need to get rid of the narration that is coming from the girl who plays Elsa Dutton. Um, and I'll tell you another thing. This show feels like a personification of what people imagine 1883 being like. And I think they've got some parts right. You've got the death that went on there, and kind of maybe is some wildness to the frontier a little bit. But I mean, when you're talking about 1883, you're still you're dealing with basically the end of the Wild West at that point. And I kind of feel like when they're just having like murders on the street, gunfights, and things along those lines, and no repercussions. I kind of feel like that's a little bit too much of a what people think the Wild West was like, and not as much what the Wild West was like. Now, don't get me wrong, I know it was rugged, but at the same time, when we're talking about 1883, we're talking about, basically almost, we're what, 20 years away from World War One, 20, 30 years away from World War One. So, I mean, you're talking about uh, almost the industrialized areas, and then you're trying to add this like view of what you think that was like in 1883 with just lawlessness and all of that going around. By that time, there was a lot of this land was settled, a lot of, especially when you're dealing with like Fort Worth and places like that, that land had been settled for a while. There was law in a lot of these places. So I kind of feel like it feels like an old west of what we've seen before. It don't feel any different. Now, of course, the death and the sadness that comes off of smallpox and diseases, and the treacherous terrain. I enjoy that aspect of it. But as far as the town settings or the city settings that they try to have and the lawlessness that's within it, I'm like, we've all seen that before. I feel like that's not really a good interpretation. Now, the German settlers, I wish that the German settlers actually had a little bit more to do. They just seem like a bunch of cowards and people that are just, I don't know, I want to say cannon fodder to a certain extent or gunfire fodder because it feels like that's the only point that they're there is to die. And I feel like they should, they're going to have them in the story about this should be just as much their story because they're the ones that's wanting to move to Oregon. And I feel like that has just been completely and totally left out. Um, but overall, I mean, I can't help but say this. This show feels like a poor man's Lonesome Dove in a lot of different ways. It doesn't have the wit of Yellowstone. I feel like Tim McGraw and Faith Hill, Sam Elliott, and even Billy Bob Thornton in the episode that he was in. I feel like they can get it so far, but they can't. This show needs more interesting side plots. It needs more character driven stories than what we're getting instead of this Elsa narration and this them taking 2 episodes to get out of one city. Like, I feel like it needs something more. It needs the wit of Yellowstone. It needs the kind of characters like what we see, like a Beth, like a John, like a Casey, somebody in there other than Tim McGraw and Faith Hill and their love story inside of that. It needs something more. It needs more characters that can drive this story. And right now, it just doesn't have those. Now, as far as the good parts, the parts that I really truly enjoyed, and I've kind of touched on them already, is Tim McGraw and Faith Hill. I mean, their chemistry is amazing on this show. The backdrop of this show is also very beautiful. It's very amazing. It's really fun to watch and see the beauty of Texas in a lot of ways. That's it's just it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. Of course, I'm partial, but overall, it does look like the Texas that I know. And so I don't know where they filmed, but I know that it does have that same beauty and that same feel to it of the terrain. So I enjoyed that aspect of it, and I'm enjoying the story that's based around when it comes to, like I said, Tim McGraw and Faith Hill. I feel like they've done an excellent job. I think they were the right people for this role. They fit as Duttons. They remind me of Duttons. Just their sheer tenacity, their drive, their lack of looking back, and you can't say that enough because in a lot of shows like this, when there's all this death around you, you see these people that are usually it's stories about them always looking back. But that's the one thing that we see in Yellowstone and we see in even 1883 with the Duttons here is they don't look back. They just constantly move forward. Elsa almost gets raped. They almost get shot and killed, and she's like still moving forward. Tim McGraw's the same way. Faith Hill's the same way. This is and I know I've complained about the narration and I've complained about them kind of not making it more Elsa's story than Tim McGraw and Faith Hill's, but I still have enjoyed um, certain aspects of it. This is how you make a strong woman um, kind of show. It feels real. It feels genuine. It feels like hey, these rough, women that are, can take on the same stuff as what the men. That's the kind of, I remember like with my grandmother, who is, about as countrified as it can get. they were just as strong as the men. They didn't need to tell somebody that they were strong. They just were. And I when I see these, when I see like Faith Hill and even the girl who plays Elsa, I think, okay, this is what I see from my great grandparents and my grandparents that lived, back before cars were really a thing. That's the kind of grit that I see, and that's what makes these strong female characters. And I think 1883 does it really, really well. And of course, what can I say? Sam Elliott always rocks. Shay Brennan is a really interesting character that he is one that has a very good backstory, really sad, tragic backstory, and I feel like it adds a lot to this show. The action on this show really works when it does take place. It's brutal. It's what you would expect in a western in a lot of ways. And of course, what can I say about Billy Bob Thornton? I mean, the dude is just an absolute beast when he's on screen. I don't know why he hasn't played in more westerns. He fits that role perfect, perfect. I don't know how they're going to add him further in the show. I hope in some ways he latches on to them and goes with them in some form or fashion, because I thought he was absolutely amazing to see. And I'll tell you two other nice additions is Ennis and Wade. I really enjoyed them. I kind of like, the story, them, and then kind of basing it, they feel like cowboys in a lot of ways. They feel like, the hands that you see on Yellowstone in a lot of ways, and I really enjoy that aspect of it. But overall, this show isn't what I expected it to be. I'll admit I'm a little bit disappointed. I hope that the pacing gets better. I hope that it's that the characters around Tim McGraw, Sam Elliott, and Faith Hill uh, really get better in a lot of ways. That the plots around them get better. I hope that the Germans who are the immigrants here, I feel like they need to take on more of a central focus and stop just being there to die. We see them drinking water from the river, and those kind of little things along those lines. We see them getting bit by snakes. We see them, just getting shot by bandits. It feels like that's all they're there for in a lot of ways, and I hope that changes. It needs to change. I don't think the accents are going to change. I'm really doubtful that the pacing change will change, but you know what? I'm still going to give this show a try. I hope it works out. I'm a big Yellowstone fan. Um, but I'll say this: if you're looking for a show that feels like Yellowstone, 1883 really doesn't feel like it right now. Really, truly doesn't. But you got to give Tim McGraw and Faith Hill especially credit, because they work in this show. They work in this show. They feel like they belong in this show. They, I mean, if there is one thing that does feel like Dutton's, it is them. But as far as the show as a whole, it couldn't be further from 18. From Yellowstone in a lot of different ways, simply because of the pacing, the story-driven narratives that they put in there. Each episode really taking on its own life. It does not have that so far. But anyways, guys, let me know what y'all think down below. Do you love it? Do you hate it? Do you think it's going to get better? You think the pacing's going to change? What do you think of Tim McGraw and Faith Hill as possible leads? And I say possible leads because I haven't quite figured out if they are leads or not. But anyways, guys, let me know what y'all think. And as always, thanks for watching. Y'all take care.